is, in some companies, yeah, there's the heroic acts, right, of companies that have taken distilleries and turned them into producing hand sanitizer. But I think it's, for me, it's the unsung ones that people talk about, those ones they talk about, but I talk about the supermarket chains of the world who in this horrible time period have stayed up and running, right? In some cases moved to a pure e-commerce model where e-commerce became a very substantial part of their business. We have a commerce product, and that commerce product has a 561 billion GMV. That's bigger than Amazon. That's bigger than anybody else out there.
Wow.
And I can tell you, over the last few months, every day has been like Black Friday.
Wow.
And these customers, especially when I look at the supermarket chains and the suppliers that are providing food and things like that, it's pretty amazing. They even in the crisis, they've had to operate 24/7 and even go above and beyond, right? And I really do look at the supermarket chains because it's a very interesting thing, right? Because these are companies that are used to working under, they're open the set hours, but all of a sudden, these became a lifeline for people, right? Going to the grocery store, which used to be a very uneventful thing, became a massive sort of thing, right? Having to wear a mask, having to stand in line to get in the door, walking in and seeing empty shelves, right? It reminded me of, and I hate to bring it back to that, but it reminded me of the Cold War era, when you went into Eastern Europe and you went into Russia or one of the East Germany or the Czech Republic, and you went into a store and there was nothing on the shelves, right? I mean, but the grocery stores and the people who run them and work in them, I have to say, for me, that was amazing. And the fact that they, and we worked hand in hand with lots of large ones to keep their stuff up and running. I mean, the amount of merchandise that has moved through e-commerce systems over the last few months is just totally unbelievable.
Yeah, my name is Marty Groover. I'm a partner for C5MI. I'm a retired Navy officer. I spent 21 years in the Navy, and I was working on technology. I didn't know it was Industry 4.0 technology at the time, but definitely saw the future. I call myself Marty McFly sometimes because I've already seen the predictive maintenance, and I had that. I worked on weapon systems, and it was amazing because you could never go up to the captain and say, I don't know why that missile didn't shoot, sir. So I did reliability center maintenance for a lot of years. And I also used SAP in the Navy and learned a lot about manufacturing in my last role before I joined Caterpillar. Worked at Caterpillar for about 12 years, and I learned manufacturing, Caterpillar production system, and then I deployed SAP ERP. Complained about it enough, they put me in charge of it for the whole corporation deploying it, which sometimes you got to be careful what you complain about. You might ask you to fix it. Anyway, fast forward, and we started some fun projects called Live Factory, and we did about 8 of them in one factory at Caterpillar. And then I got the bug, and I said, we need to do this for other companies. So we started C5MI, which stands for Command, Control, Computers, Communication, and Collaboration, Management Insights. And that's definitely from the Navy. But what my business does is we do digital manufacturing, enterprise asset management. We also have a thing called operational intelligence, and then pure supply chain and manufacturing process. I'm for sure the 3D printing is going to come along. It is. I mean, they're making aircraft parts. The Navy's buying it like crazy because then they don't have to carry all these parts on a ship, which burns fuel. But what I really see is the data piece. When Steve Jobs stood up in 2007 and said, I made 3 things into one here. This piece right here, what I can do in my personal life, why can't I do that in my factory? I should be able to just see what's going on live. And I really believe that digital manufacturing, that's where it's going to come in. You're going to have a self-compensating supply chain that's fully condition-based monitored. And I think once you have that, now you're going to take the man out of the loop. We changed air warfare after Vietnam because the man could not track supersonic missiles anymore. Our ships got hit. They had to build these new radar systems where the man was out of the loop. The man only did what he needed to do by exception. And I think what's going to happen now is the supply chain will be the same thing. Digital manufacturing, everything will be like sensorized, and you'll know exactly what you want. You'll build doctrine in the systems, and it will make decisions and self-compensate where you have less spikes. It's almost like a ship at sea that things on a gimbal, right? It senses the movement and stabilizes things. I think you're going to see that going forward. And that, I think, is, you know, the robotics and all that's great, but that's really where Industry 4.0 is going to win for us.
You know, telemedicine has been around. We dabbled with it at Kaiser back in like 2001 and 2, but it was always experimental. And telemedicine has slowly gained some traction, but the pandemic and the shelter-in-place orders forced the issue of adoption. Friends of mine at UC San Francisco, one of the big health systems here in the Bay Area, before the pandemic, they were at about 2% of telehealth visits. As of about 3 weeks ago, they were over 50% of all outpatient visits were being done via a telehealth facility that they had. And so do I think it will stay at 50+%? I don't think so, but I do feel pretty strongly that sure as heck it's not going to go back to 2%. Yeah. And so the pandemic, as with a lot of changes, was a forcing function to create an adoption curve. And, you know, Seema Varma just said that they're going to look at pricing because reimbursement for telemedicine was always very low in the old model, and making it more attractive for the providers to adopt, I think will drive that. And from the consumer perspective, which unfortunately in healthcare is more of an afterthought than a forethought, but I'd much rather pop on a video like you and I are on and spend 10 minutes with my physician about something that's, you know, like a cold or whatever, and resolve it that way than have to take half a day off from work and drive to the clinic and see the physician and spend my whole afternoon futzing around, you know, on a fairly minor medical issue. So I think this one is now here to stay.
There's a lot of work that is being done on digital discovery of houses. So if you're looking to buy a house, and this is not in the mortgage industry, but upstream, let's say if you want to buy a house, and all the pictures, it used to be, oh, do we have some good, nice pictures? But now pictures are not enough, right? You need to have a virtual tour. You need to stage it for digital. And you have to have a drone come around, take a picture of the neighborhood and also your house. So some of the large, one of the largest new age real estate companies is one of our clients. And one of the biggest service that they are providing their brokers is ability to actually get their house internet ready in a short period of time. Huh. So they have the photographers on their marketeers on their staff, photographers on the staff, people who can take drone pictures, people who can even stage it, and staging it for a picture taking session is different than staging it for somebody coming to the house. So they have expertise into all of that, and in fact, right, if I'm going to be buying a house, or at least doing majority of my discovery online, then I need those things. And in fact, we are also working with a startup which is making sure that these videos and pictures are authentic. So they are able to certify that. So lots of, as they say, whenever there is all this crisis has created a lot of new opportunities for different kinds of companies.
But the title checks and so on, have those gone digital, or are they still pretty manual?
They are digital to the extent that you're able to interact with them, you're able to integrate with them digitally. So to create a mortgage, you have to interact with somewhere between 15 to 30 agencies, and many of them are available online. And actually, one of our systems is able to connect to all of them and get that information digitally, and you don't have to upload any papers, or you don't have to no, actually paperless, contactless, and you're able to start your application process.